Be who you are. You're not black, and that's okay. In this episode, we discuss what does it really mean to be black, who is and who is not black, and why it's okay if you are not black. Just relax and enjoy.
Hello, Cinti.
Hello, Chanel.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Yes, I'm good. Hey.
You have to say you're good so that you can make it through the day.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's been a very busy week, and I spent most of my yesterday in bed.
Laid out.
I didn't get up till 3, and then you didn't get up until like 3 minutes after me.
Yes.
So we were both
chilling, and then the rest of the day we just...
potatoes.
What's the next show you want to watch?
Truly. And the only reason why I got up was because I didn't want to spend $20 to deliver food to the house, because that's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
$20 and the place is walking distance from my home.
$20.
Yes.
2 thumbs down.
Right. Truly.
But yeah. So Cindy.
Yes, Chanel.
Have you seen the pictures of Diana Ross's family?
I have.
Oh my God.
Yes.
And also the Michael Jackson family, the Jackson family
Yes.
in general.
Yes.
What do those two have in common?
So if you start, it's kind of like a sliding scale where one is really dark, one end is really dark, and the other end it's kind of like a gradient.
A gradient. And
yes,
the older people tend to be darker.
Yes.
And then the younger people tend to be white.
Yes. Yes.
White.
Yes.
Isn't it crazy that all it takes is for one black person to choose a white person? Mm-hmm. That person's already mixed.
Yes.
Half.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, if that person chooses another white person, the line is white.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like, have you ever seen those TikToks where it's like people who have 2 different colors of milk? It's like chocolate milk and then just plain like white milk, and they mix it because they're trying to explain to people why their children are lighter. They're like, that's not your kid. And it's just like, it's color theory. Like if
together.
you keep adding in white to something dark, it's going to get lighter.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing that applies to people. If you keep adding white,
typically
it'll get lighter.
A little bit lighter.
Just
You know
a
what I
little
mean?
bit, just a smidgen.
And it was very shocking for me to see those photos because I was like, dang, you started off with, Jackson 5 in the past.
Oh, you're talking about the Michael Jackson family. Yes.
Michael Jackson family, Diana Ross family. And the Diana Ross family, I only know Diana Ross and Tracy Ellis
And I
Ross.
think I know one of her sons, too.
Yes.
Who's of a lighter skin tone than Tracy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so it's just crazy to see these photos and they're like, family reunion. And it's like, where's the black people?
You want to know somebody else, too?
Who?
Quincy Jones.
Oh, yeah.
R.I.P. Quincy Jones, but his family.
Because even his daughter, Rashida Jones.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Indubitably.
Yeah.
And so, racial dynamics in this country.
Mm-hmm.
Good times.
Yeah.
Racism.
Mm-hmm.
Colorism.
Mm-hmm.
Featureism.
Of course.
Texturism.
Yeah. Speaking of texturism, Tracy Ellis Ross has a
hair care line. Pattern.
Maybe.
I think that's what it's called.
Maybe.
I
don't know.
You know
what I'm saying. But like, it kind of goes into that conversation, right? Because yes, I can understand that most black people have a sliding scale when it comes to hair. Typically, black people will fall into that type 4 category, whether it is 4A to 4C. And I've heard there's a such thing as 4D, which I don't know.
They'd be switching it up. Some people are like, the whole type hair thing is not for black people in general, and they should use a whole nother system.
Oh,
yeah, I've seen. Because I think a white man created the typing hair system.
Of course,
don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure.
Hey, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, honestly. But they were saying the type 4, it's not accurate and it doesn't make sense for coily hair. And so they were saying the system that you should go by revolves less around like what your curl pattern looks like, and it's more around like how big your curls are. And so they'll say like, you know how when you're doing your hair or whatever, some of your hair will like shed, and on the ground you'll see like little circles.
Yes.
They're saying take that little circle, and that's what your hair type should be, how big your coils are.
Interesting.
Or your curls are, instead of, oh, does your hair look like this?
Yeah.
Or does it look, which doesn't make sense for most people.
I should look more into that and see what where my hair would fall. But anyway, the point that I was trying to make is it's just like I feel like a lot of the conversations when it comes to the like hair products are even coming out when you have people who I guess you could say have more mixed hair that would fall like more into, let's just say, the 3 type 3 category. And I'm speaking generally, right? Because I'm not going to say someone who has type 4 hair can't use products that are targeted more for mixed hair. But I feel like a lot when you have celebrities who are forward facing, who are well known, which is a whole topic we can get into based off the fact that they are the black face of Hollywood promoting hair care products, and then all of a sudden hair care products that would work for more type 4 hair get pushed to the side. Yeah. But then at the same time, it's marketed as this is a black hair care product.
Yes.
Right?
Even though it might not work for all types. Yeah.
And I feel like that's where a lot of the issues can arise, because it's like, yes, black can be considered a monolith, right? We are black people. But in the monolith that is black people, there's so many other distinguishing factors between us. And I feel like when it comes to, again, specifically using like the Jackson family or the Ellis Ross family, I think Ross family.
Yes.
Sorry, I have Tracy Ellis on the mind. The Ross family. I feel like that's where a lot of
dang. Winston,
my cat just tried to jump. For those who are watching us, you would see that my cat just attempted to jump from my knee onto the couch nearby, and he completely missed.
Yeah, he almost died right there.
Yeah, which is funny because I've been telling you all weekend that that's what he does is he will like undershoot his jumps, and he's staring
chilling
at the light.
now. He's chilling.
Anyway, I can't remember the point that I was making, but ultimately, I think there's a conversation that can be had when it comes to who society considers to be black in the most nuanced sense. Like, I'm not going to say Tracy Ellis Ross is not black, right? But at the same time, I'm not going to say that her black experience is the same as my black experience. Yeah. Right? I don't know if you could say anything to that point.
Yes, I think I can. So, like, let's go through, like, who's black, who's not.
Oh, God.
Because we are the arbiters of.
Are we?
Blackness. It's us. Okay. Only us.
Yeah, I was
this is
just
like, what we
I can't
think.
Co-sign on that.
This is what we think, though. You know what I mean? These are the vibes. Okay. So, what I believe, I think it's a multifaceted thing to consider who's black.
Right.
I think an issue in the black community is they consider everybody black. Everybody black. And that comes from white people. Yes. Because, you know, in the past, they had the 1 drop rule. And it's basically if you have 1 drop of black blood, you are a black person. And you're going to be treated less than. Right. Right. And then later on, well, in the same kind of time period, they also had the paper bag test where it's like, okay, well, you're black, but if you are the shade of a paper bag or lighter, then you can have access to these spaces. Right. And it's typically you getting higher up over, you know, other black people. And so that creates a dynamic in the black community where, okay, we're considering everybody black, but also not everybody gets treated the same if they're black. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. Everybody's black, but not everybody's black. And so from that idea, in my head, this is kind of the way I think about it. There are kind of like there's a few parts to it. Because again, we said racism, colorism, texturism. There's a whole multifaceted thing. We're not just one brushstroke and that covers us all. So I think the first part of it is ancestry. And so I think it depends. Look at your family line. Yes. Right? You got some white people up in there. you got some white people up in there that we're standing on shaky ground. So, you know, I would say look at your parents, look at your grandparents. Right. Grandparents are the easiest because that's makes up everything. What do your grandparents look like? If all your grandparents are black, baby, you black. You black. Period.
Okay.
No ifs, ands, buts about it. You black.
Okay.
If all 4 of your grandparents are black.
Okay.
If 3 of your grandparents are black, you're black.
You're
black.
I love the tone change.
You're black.
You're black. Okay.
Ain't nobody taking that away from you. Black. Okay. If you have 2 black grandparents,
right,
you're half black.
Yes.
And a lot of people will be like, I'm black. Look at this one grandparent. These two
They
grandparents.
do that a lot.
Girl.
It's always the reaching and grasping at straws. Like, you see the one over there?
Great grandmother was black.
Yeah.
So I am a Negro. I'm like, oh! Huh?
Right. Yes.
What? So yeah. So if you have 2 black grandparents, you're half black.
Yes.
If you have 1 black grandparent, you're part black.
Yes.
So I need you to lead with whatever else you are. You are white and part black.
Yes.
Right? You are Asian and half black.
Right.
Half Asian, half black. However you want to say
Right. Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So that's the dynamics, and I feel like that's one part of it, of course, because your family impacts who you are.
Of course.
It impacts how you grow up culturally. How you view the world around you is often influenced by your parents, and yada, yada, yada.
Yes.
There's also the aspect of like, okay, from your parents, which one is the one with the black ancestry?
Right.
As well, because we know a lot of times if you have a half black person, a mixed black person, if their mom is the one who's black, they normally carry more of the culture.
Right.
Because normally
Yes.
women hold the culture in our society. And so that's something to keep in mind too, but
That's
extra.
That gets
That's
more
extra.
and more into it. Yeah.
So that's one part of it. What is your ancestry? The other part of it, I think, is also important is what do you look like?
Right. I agree with that one 100%.
Yes. And I feel like both of those should be considered. Right? We don't, just because you look completely black doesn't mean we throw out that you have 3 white grandparents, because you having a white parent still changes your life as opposed to somebody who has full black parents and they're a full black looking person.
Yeah. Because I think it's a difference of like culture, right? What is your cultural background? But then at the same time, we are in a racist society. That's again, even though it's like culturally, the 1 drop rule matters, right?
Yes.
But then forward facing, 1 drop rule is still very prevalent. All because you have 3 grandparents, a white person, and you look black. All because you have 3 grandparents, a white person is going to look at you and treat you like a black man.
Yes.
Even if you look half black, if they believe you look more black than you do white, they will treat you as a black person.
Yes.
Which is where I feel like, a lot of the discourse comes in when it comes to like, well, obviously I'm black because Bobby Joe Bob, whatever, on the side told me I am.
Yes.
Right?
And yeah, I agree with that. And like with the looking black thing, it comes from like, what is your hair texture, right? What is your skin color? You know what I mean? What are your features? Those are all things that people tend to discriminate based on.
Yes.
And so, you could have, typically it doesn't happen. I also want to mention this because some people are like, you could have 1% black and come out looking black, more black than the people in Africa. And I'm like, okay, y'all, we need to be real. Typically, most people, if you have more white ancestry, you look more white.
Right.
Typically. There's always stuff that happens out of the blue.
Of course, because genetics is something.
It's weird.
What is it? Isn't it like a probability? Isn't there
It's a probability thing.
So it's just like, even if there's like a 1% chance, that 1% chance can happen, but the likelihood it happens, it's just.
It depends.
Yeah.
And it's just that's what happened. So yeah. So I think those 2 parts of it, ancestry plus phenotype, impacts how you move throughout this world.
Right.
And it also impacts who's going to be calling you black as well. So that's where I stand on that. You have anything else to add?
I don't think I have anything else to add. I think because we've had this conversation a lot before, and the one thing that I always bring up is the point that you made is like, what is the forward facing one? And then also, who is the black person in the relationship? Because I do believe those greatly matter. Because again, if you're thinking about it from a race and racism issue, if you are forward facing black, your issues with any other black person are going to be similar, regardless of the people that you have back home and the people that raised you, right? Immediately, they're going to just call you certain names, assume certain things. Like, foods that you like to eat, things that you like to drink, activities that you like to do, pointing you to be like, do you know who you look like? And then it's just some random black person that looks nothing like you. As a tangent, who was a black person that you have gotten that looks nothing like you?
I have never gotten that.
Really?
I've never gotten that. I don't know what it is. I also have a thing where whenever I meet new people, they say, do I know you?
Yes.
Have I met you before?
I've
and I'm
gotten that.
like, no,
Yes.
you haven't.
I
You
get
look
that a lot.
so familiar. But I've never been one-to-one compared to like a celebrity or anything
Yes.
like that. But, you know, when I was in college, you know, me and Kyra, they
Assumed you were one and the same.
we were the one and the same. They couldn't like separate us in our
Yeah.
minds. So
because you're two black women
We
with
look
glasses.
glasses.
That's it. But your shades,
we look completely
different.
like
different
not
hair,
even cousins.
different shades, different
We
clothing.
look completely
everything.
completely different.
Yes. But I'm pretty sure they just see black with glasses. Yeah. I also a lot got I recognize you. I don't know if you remembered when we went to New York and we went to that ramen spot. She was like, have I seen you before? And I'm
Yeah.
like, no. I just tell people I just must have one of those faces. I don't know what it is. But the celebrity that I got for a good chunk of my life through middle school and high
scared.
school is Whoopi Goldberg.
You don't look like Whoopi Goldberg.
I got Whoopi Goldberg to the point that like on Facebook, people would post it on my Facebook for birthdays. They'd put pictures of Whoopi, and when I get those reminders,
I'm not lazy. I will put a picture of Whoopi Goldberg and you side by side. Okay. I'm probably gonna be lazy, but if I'm not.
but any person, let me look at the camera. Any person who looks at me, I'm gonna move the mic, can see that I do not look like Whoopi Goldberg.
You look just like her. I loved you in the color purple.
Anyway, right? Back to the point, forward facing, you're going to go through and have these situations where you have people who assume you look like another black person or say that you look like an actor and assume that it's a compliment. That is a shared black experience. But like, and then again with the culture, when it comes to like, if you have a black mother, that is a shared black experience. Like, especially if it's like a black American or for my experience, Nigerian American, there's certain food and cuisines you grow up eating.
Yep.
And there's certain things like I've talked to so many black people, black, half black, whatever, who have a hot comb story.
Oh God.
You know
Mom,
what
please.
You know what I
please.
mean?
I'm not burning you. What are you talking? Please, Mom. Please.
And then you have a scar and you're crying and your mom is telling you to relax. That's a shared black experience,
Yes.
right? And those are things that I think need to be taken into consideration when we're talking about like who is black and who is not.
Yeah.
And that was just ultimately like my comments and thoughts is like, those are the two things that I would want to bring into it. But I also strongly agree where it's just like, yes, when it, especially if you're thinking about from Hollywood perspective, if you have 4 black grandparents versus maybe like 3 or 2, that drastically changes how society and how the industry that is Hollywood promotes you, because it seems like those who have lesser, that you still need to have at least one, but if you have lesser amount of black grandparents, you're seen as more desirable.
Yes. And we see that a lot. Like there will be, you know, one example I can think of is like there was the book, the Hate You Give.
Okay. Yes.
It was turned into a movie, and then Amandla Steinberg, I think her name is.
I just know her first name's Amandla.
Amandla. One name.
One name. Yes.
She starred in it, and
Yes.
people were kind of like, "Why are you starring in that?" When
Right.
I think in the book it's supposed to be a full.
And she's dark skinned. Like she's
at least on the cover.
She's on the cover.
Yes.
Is the dark skinned black woman.
And we're like, why are you playing this? And so that's like the trend that people have been noticing. They'll have half black people play full black women, specifically just women. And it's kind of like an erasure of black women in general. Because I'm like, why am I not seeing myself on screen?
Right. And
when this role is supposed to be a full black person.
And I love the fact that you brought up specifically black women, because I'm thinking famous black males, for example, Idris Elba,
Denzel Washington,
Chadwick Boseman, R.I.P., right?
Yep.
Darker skin black people.
Yeah. For
Right?
actresses, I'm thinking
For dark skin.
Viola Davis. Octavia Spencer.
Right. I feel like I remember
Young ones, I can't think of a single
young one. There's older ones. I was going to say there was
Yeah.
I forget their names. I think it's like Danielle or Daniela. They were both in Orange and the New
Yes.
Black. Uzu Uzo. I know I'm butchering it, especially because her name's Nigerian. But let's. I grew up in America. I apologize to any Nigerians who hear me. I'm trying really hard. Just be happy I can say my own name.
Oh no.
But yes, I mainly know of older Black actresses. So it seems as though, at least, you can even say like, what's her name? It's not Tabitha. Is it not Tabitha? The one who, Is You Okay? Is that her?
I don't remember.
She has her own spice line. She's 100% vegan.
No, it's not.
Is it her? I know her. She calls her hair's named Donna. And watch, it's not Tabitha. Anyway, I digress. Mm-hmm. The point that I was trying to make is a lot of darker skinned Black women get their break when they're older. Yeah. Because I wanted to use her as an example. She's not even that dark in comparison. But at the same time, she worked very, very hard to build herself, was trying to get many acting roles, and she got her big break later in life. And I'm happy for her because she is able to get acting roles. Yeah. And she had her own TV show, and she's able to do her own food lines, but she's older.
Yeah.
Right.
And on that note, because like sometimes there will be full Black actresses, and for example, the main character in Hidden Figures, what's her name? I'm forgetting her name.
Taraji B. Henson.
Yes. So I'm assuming she's a full Black woman. She looks like a full Black woman. Mm-hmm. But they've said like they only allow full Black women if you're a safe brown. And it's like,
what
you
does
have
safe brown mean?
You know, like on the scale of Black people, there's a middle.
So as in like, you're not super dark.
You're not super dark. Super light. You're not super light. You're like safe. That's in the middle where like you just barely make it.
That's disgusting.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't like that.
I don't like that either, but that's what they've been saying. Like you can only get on if you're like
safe.
You have to at least be safe, but they prefer lighter, different texture of hair, thinner features, etc. Unfortunate. Doesn't that just take the wind out of your sails?
It does, because it just like life is already difficult just in general being Black, but then that added Black woman, if you don't fit into the like
specific box that's made,
they promote that is the ideal, like that's the beauty standard when it comes to like what is desirable or whatever, and whose like voice deserves to be heard. That's the Black person that they put, and if you don't fall in there, ultimately you're kind of just shunned. And this can go even into the medical field. Like Black women typically, when it comes to pregnancies, are the ones who are more inclined to die. Yep. And then I feel as though that the lighter that your skin color gets, the more that people are going to listen to you. Yeah. And it's so disheartening that is what.
And yeah, it permeates all through society. Because there's also, if you are, being sentenced in the criminal justice system, the darker you are, the larger your sentence is.
Of course. Like
that's a study that they did. And so it's like, okay, that's not the best. And then like we know from hair texture, why do we have to go ahead and unite and create the Crown Act for you people to stop discriminating against us for our hair?
Yes.
It's just frustrating. So frustrating.
I have stories with respect to the Crown, or just like hair in general. Yeah. The amount of times I've been asked if I can be pet, pretty much.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, your hair looks so fluffy. How does it get like that? Can I touch it?
Oh my gosh, did you cut your hair? That one especially makes me angry because I'm like, I'll have my hair out and I'm like, literally my hair is the same. I didn't do anything. I didn't touch it. But did you cut your hair? I'm like, girl, I just went like this today.
Yeah. Oh, it's so funny. I once had a coworker come up to me and be like, I don't know how you do it, but I could never do it. And I'm like, what? And he's like, you just had like 6 different hairstyles. And like, I don't know, your hair just changes so often. That seems so exhausting. It's like down your back, then it's like to your ears, and then it's a different color. Mind you, it's just extensions, which is not something that is uncommon. Like,
and all races use them.
In all races. And that's the reason why I'm like, I don't understand why we get all the questions when I'm like, I don't know, Mary Margaret. The white names that I go through, I don't even know. I just pull them.
Yes.
Mary Margaret's hair was like more textured, like had more volume, right? On Tuesday, because you knew Mary Margaret had an event, but now it's like a couple weeks later, she got them removed and her hair is different. Have you asked her that her hair has been cut? Oh no, it looks the same. No, it doesn't. It truthfully doesn't.
Yeah. What's up with that?
What is up with that?
Come on now. And so, yeah, that's what's disappointing. And then, of course, we know like you remember back in the day, the light skin versus dark skin nonsense.
What do you mean back in the day? It's still a thing now.
It's still a thing now.
It's
and it makes me cringe so hard because it's like, y'all, please.
But refresh me. What is this nonsense? Because I just know there's always people fighting in the comments about like our experiences still matter. Like we're still black, so you can't X us out of these experiences when it's like you don't really have them, you know?
Yeah. And I, of course, like, okay, you might have been bullied in school. Mm-hmm. Cool. There was dark-skinned people who were also bullied in school. You know, you might have these certain little things that impact you for sure, but when it comes to like a systematic problem,
yes,
you don't really have that when you're lighter skinned versus dark skinned. If we're just considering that one metric,
right,
you really don't have that. And so back in the day, you remember when like people were making just like these disgusting videos of like light skin versus dark skin challenge. Oh, you're making light skin faces. Oh my god, why are you acting light skinned? Like, do you remember this?
No.
You don't remember this?
No.
You weren't on the internet.
No, I wasn't really allowed.
That was probably the right thing.
Yeah,
because
no.
what the hell? No, people back in the day and still today, I still see it every once in a while.
I see more of it now.
Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised if this was a thing that was going on before, but I've only really gotten more accustomed to it later in life.
You see, the real thing was Vine. Vine, dangerous.
Okay.
Because they're basically, and we can go back into the history.
Okay.
My people. So
Black power.
Basically on Vine, there was a lot of what's called minstrelsy. This is where you ask, what is that?
Yeah. I asked it with my face,
You said,
but I'll say it out loud. What is minstrelsy?
Thank you for asking, Cindy. Today's word is minstrelsy. Anyways, so basically back in the day.
Okay.
This is like way back in the day, like 1800s, early. Okay. So the first American pastime, first American entertainment was white people getting on stage, painting themselves black.
Okay.
Painting their lips red.
Okay.
And making fun of black people.
Yes. I've seen history books, you know, like whenever they give a presentation on racism, you always see this.
Yes. And so literally vaudeville, minstrelsy, they would be touring shows. They would go around the entire country making fun of black people. This is where we get the stereotypes for, oh, black people love watermelon. It comes from there.
Oh my gosh.
Black people love fried chicken. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And so all that stuff comes from making fun of black people back in the day. It's the first entertainment in the United States was making fun of black people. And so, you know, they would tour the country and all that stuff. And so the fact that you would go on Vine and you would see not only white people making these jokes, but also black people making these jokes about themselves. King Batch calling you out.
Ooh. I haven't heard King Batch in a minute.
But he was on there.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
That's a whole separate conversation that can be had where it's like black people perpetuating these standards to make a quick buck. In the end of the day, it's a quick buck.
Yep.
And at the end of it as well, while you have your quick buck, you're hurting an entire community. Because you're perpetuating it. Because now people can turn around and be like, well, King Batch does that. So like he's black, you're black.
Yeah, so it's funny. I can make fun of you too.
Yeah.
No. So yeah, that's where kind of like the jokes started. All the way back like early days of this country. Those are where the jokes started. And so now we had Vine where it was black people doing minstrelsy. Yikes. Yeah. And then it turned into like light skin versus dark skin. And so they would have videos. I honestly don't remember fully, but it would be like, you know, one light person, one dark person, and then they would be like, oh, well, you're light skinned, so you're like this, and da-da-da, and list of stereotypes. Oh, you're dark skinned and you're like this, and list of stereotypes. And the main stereotype for light skinned people was they're too good and they're like super into their looks and they're like soft.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like that. And then for dark skinned people, it was like, you guys are aggressive. ugly was a big stereotype for that, and other things like, oh, you're so strong because you're dark. Okay. You're gonna win in the fight because you're dark. Okay.
I don't know. Again, when it comes to stereotypes, there's no rhyme or reason to them to make them make sense, because I don't understand how, because you're light skinned you're vain, because you're dark skinned you're aggressive. Like I don't know where they came from.
Yeah, you see, there's probably a history behind it, as always, because I feel like a lot of these stereotypes are fed to us.
Yes.
Like, for example, a stereotype is that black people are not smart, but white people try to avoid us reading books. If we're not smart, why are you trying to take books away from us? You see what I'm saying? Oh, black people are unclean. Who are the most unclean group of people? Anyways, moving on.
Quickly. Chanel, I wash my legs. That's all that needs to be said.
I also wash my legs.
Oh my God. That was an epidemic. When that came out, I feel like friendships ended for me. I'm not even kidding. I got into an argument with someone that I don't talk to anymore because she said to me that the soap from the top of her body washes the bottom of her legs. And I said, that soap is dirty. And then she goes, soap doesn't get dirty.
You're not a soap bar, love. You're a human being.
Soap doesn't get dirty. I'm like, I said to her, what's the color of the water that runs down the drain?
Oh no.
She's like, I mean, it just takes out the dirt. If it's black, you gotta run.
Gotta run clear, baby.
Yeah, so anyway, I don't talk to her anymore.
Good conclusion. Yay.
We love a tangent.
Yes.
But anyway, yes. Black people are cleanly. Black people are smart. And I can understand that it's like, even with the stereotypes that we know, because there are Asian stereotypes that I've heard, indigenous people stereotypes that I've heard that I know are not true.
Yeah.
And again, it's all coming from racism. And I could understand as well, it's to perpetuate certain things. Because yeah, if you say black people are not smart, and then all of a sudden black people don't do well because you place restrictions against them, people are further going to believe other stereotypes that they're not going to look to see that, oh, the reason why black people are not smart is because if you look at predominantly black areas, they do sort of like, what is it, red line restrictions to make sure that black people can't go into the nice schools that are well funded, and they remove all the funding for those schools within those districts. So black people do not have access to the same education that other people do, which of course is going to make them be less smart in comparison because they don't have the same resources. None of that research is going to happen. What's going to be seen as, oh, black people aren't doing well in tests. Black people are under excelling. That means black people are not smart.
And that's what they run with.
Yes.
And you see, on the note of stereotypes, the thing that really grinds my gears is a lot of non-black people will take those stereotypes and create a caricature of what it is to be a black person.
And use it.
And that goes along with the minstrelsy and all that stuff. It's just them continuing the same thing ever. It reminds me of like on TikTok. This was like probably a year ago or something. There was this one Asian girl on there, and she was using the stereotype black, I don't know, they call it black scent, right? Where they just choose like, what sounds like a black person to me, and they just grab a bunch of things.
And that's the emphasis of like grab a bunch of things. I feel like I know who you're talking about. And she was claiming she was from one location, but and people were just like, your accent sounds like you could be from Baltimore, from Georgia. You have a little bit of Valley girl in there. What is going on?
What's going on with your accent? Cornbread. I just say cornbread. I can't help it. What is that, girl? Talk normal.
Right?
That's not how you talk.
No.
And like AAVE is a real thing.
Yes.
Okay. Black people have been in this country since before it was a country. We've developed our own dialect.
Yes.
When it comes to English. And so it exists.
Right.
There might be someone out there who grew up in a certain neighborhood who might have a genuine AAVE connection and they're not black.
Right.
I can see that.
It happens.
It happens.
It happens.
But not you, girl.
Right.
Cornbread.
Yeah. And I feel like it's a conversation that we should get into, because black people are marketable when it's not a black person marketing it.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
And everybody wants to be black. until it's time to be black.
Exactly. A perfect example is the Kardashian Jenner family of everybody wants to be black until it's time to be black. Because I would say in the past, even still now, but more so in the past, being black was very marketable. Having the big lips. Remember when Kylie Jenner got the lip filler? The big lips.
What are you talking about? She just overlines her lips. What are you talking about? She just overlines them.
Yeah, it's completely so overlined.
So
that
overlined.
It looks like legitimate lips that have been filled with Botox.
Yes.
So the big lips, the big hips, the clothing, even the men that they were around, right?
Yes.
They all gave black, right?
Trying to be black.
Trying to be black, but at the same time, they are not black. And that's what was desirable, right? Because everybody loved the Kardashians. The Kardashians back in the day were the top people. There are still people who like a lot of like just non-celebrities and celebrities engage with, but they're not as big as they used to be. They were very, very big. But now, I don't know if you noticed, since they're not as big, their kind of focus has been moving, where I've noticed that like their hips aren't as big.
Yeah.
And they're trying to be slimmer. I think we were talking about Kim Kardashian with Marilyn Monroe's dress.
Yep.
And how she lost a lot of weight. And then since then she was like, I don't know, I just feel healthier and I feel better.
Healthier.
Or whatever, right? I've noticed, I saw a whole thing where like Kylie Jenner's lips have been getting smaller. It's just like they're kind of changing their outlook because they no longer see it as being marketable.
Yeah.
Or they're now trying to promote their children.
They're saying black is out. I'm going to be white again.
Right. They still have black children, but yes.
Yikes. And you can't undo those.
No.
Godspeed to them.
But again, I feel like when it related to the black scent and the Kardashians as well, being black is marketable. It is very marketable because black people set the tone for culture. We set the tone for music. We set the tone for food. We set the tone for like beauty, whatever, fashion. Black people set the tone, but it's not as digestible for most when it's a black person doing it. And that's why other people try to take it because they realize they're going to be marketable.
And that falls right into, oh my gosh, that's not AAVE. That's Gen Z slang. I'm in my bag. I'm finna be in the pit.
I'm finna be in the
body tea, homework tea, life tea. And this is how we're looking at our phone as we hit not interested.
Yeah. It hurts. It really pains me. Because I'm like, it's even worse when they use it wrong.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, what was the one? There was one saying that was just used wrong over and over and over. I can't remember. I can't.
There's so many.
But
so
there was
many.
one specifically where it was like, oh, gat.
Damn, girl. Gat. She got that gat. What's a gat? I was literally Googling, what's a gat? Huh? And the way that these people took God damn and turned it into, girl, look at that gat. We need to go back to Google it because what is gat?
What is gat? Also, another one is ooh, child, the ghetto.
Woo Chile. Woo Chile.
Right? But then at the same time, that also brings, even with the whole conversation of like how phrases can get so messed up, even going back to Niecy. Well, not Niecy, sorry. What is her name? I wanted to say Niecy Nash, but it's not Niecy Nash. She's from the Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Nene Leakes.
Nene Leakes. Yeah.
You said Niecy and I'm like, my brain doesn't want to get there.
But it was like an N. But Nene
Leakes.
Leakes, right? That is AAVE being used way before Gen Z. Like Gen Z were, I don't even know if Gen Z was like, because maybe we were alive, but Gen Z was still very young.
Yeah.
Like very, very young.
Yeah.
There's no way that they were setting the stage and creating like slang that was being used by Nene Leakes back in the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So again, that is where the whole thing of like the black people erasure, but still utilizing black people to make money is coming when, especially with like, oh, do you remember mermaid braids?
Yes.
Or whatever, not mermaid braids, but like.
You braid up your hair and then you undo it and you have beautiful
ways.
Yeah, we both have mermaid braids right now.
I've been having them since I was 3.
But no, that can't be a thing because it's Gen Z slang.
Nope.
It only got created like last year.
Yeah, only time it existed. And then you also have the issue of people acting like they invent things that are, and this goes for any culture,
right?
But even in Black culture, a lady was like, "Oh, I invented this thing that covers your hair while you sleep, so that your hair remains silky smooth because it's satiny, it's silky.
Yes,
give me $5,000 for one."
When I saw that, I was like, I was like, it is a cute design, right? But when she said $5,000, I saw people were stitching in the comments.
Oh my God! Go to the store,
beauty supply store for $3. $3,
and it's indestructible,
right? You might only have one color because I feel like every single Black person has like the same like fuchsia, like pink, but at the same time, it does the job.
Yep,
you could get more, but for $5,000, you could have one every single day and throw it away for a good couple of years for $5,000, and these are reusable.
Yeah. And so, yeah, that's the issue. They normally take things that were popularized in the Black community, other communities, and then they just act like they invented them.
Yeah.
What's up with that? I can't.
Again, trying to profit off of Black people.
And then the hairstyles. That's the big contention.
Braided hair.
Let a white woman get on social media and say, "You guys like my braids? Yeah, I know the Black women are going to come at me, but you like my braids?"
I feel like, and that's a thing that also gets me. It feels like whenever it is like non-Black people to Black people, it's always a point of like, well,
we're doing it anyways.
Right. We can do it. And like, what can you do about it? Because it's like the conversation is just like, well, Black women get straight hair. Why can't I have braids? And I'm like, it's not giving what you think it's trying to give. You going to get braids because it's like, we're not doing it to try to be white. It's like, these are protective hairstyles. Right.
And even on top of that, your people, white people, were literally making fun of Black people, not hiring Black people because our hair is not straight.
Yes.
Those are two different things.
And even now to this day, right?
To the day.
Yeah.
To the day.
Yes.
And I'm like, girl, a lot of people do their hair straight because it's a part of our culture now.
Yes.
To try to assimilate and get ours in this country.
Right.
Nobody was not hiring you because you didn't have bust down booty length braids.
Yeah.
Okay. Nobody was even asking you to do that in any way, shape, or form.
Right. And then even back to like these white women feeling like they're trying to prove something. It's like, your hair can't take the braids. It's a lot of people in the comment sections at first who were trying to be helpful, being like, hey, you have to be careful because it's like putting all that weight and pressure onto your hair is not good for your hair.
Yeah.
And like your hair gets tangled. Even like our hair gets tangled, right? But we have process, and like if we put enough moisture into it, it will detangle. But a lot of what you're seeing is like when people who do not have our texture hair put braids into their hair, it gets matted. And when it gets matted, the only thing at some points that you can do is cut it out. So it's not the flex that people think it is. It's trying to be an attack. And ultimately it's just like, well, we're trying to help you save your hair. But if you don't care about your hair, it is what it is.
Put a relaxer in there.
Because, yeah.
At this point. You want to be like us. Get that relaxer, girl. Creamy crack.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, I never understood why it's like, yes, it's like, oh, we want the pretty colors. I'm like, you could put extensions into your own hair.
Yeah.
And you could braid your hair. Like extensions, it's something that everybody has access to. And you can braid your hair. I don't understand why you need box braids, but I digress. Yeah.
Anybody can wear their hair however they want. I don't care. But just know, you get on here and going, look at my braids. What are you going to do about it? Obviously, this is something else for you.
It is.
Yeah. But yeah. Oh, God. The culture vultures. Why are they coming for us?
I don't know.
They come for everybody.
They're coming for everybody, but it feels like it's a lot of the conversations always circle back around to Black people over and over and over.
And over.
And it feels like it's a vendetta trying to be won at this point. But yeah, do you have any other points? I could think of a lot.
You see, the way this podcast could be 10 hours if you really got into the nitty gritty. Because there's a lot.
What are your thoughts on people who don't look black fighting for black issues? Because I think that's a conversation that you can say a lot about. Because when you're laughing, you know exactly what I mean.
Okay, so we have to talk about Rachel Dolezal. Because that's the place where my mind goes.
My mind went to Halsey.
Yes. But Rachel Dolezal, let's start there. A full white woman had a leadership position in the NAACP. I can't even say the words. It's some group of letters.
Yeah.
NAACP. Whatever. Mm-hmm. You had a leadership position and you were pretending to be a black person. She had box braids.
Yes.
And a tan.
Yes. Oh, wasn't it a fake tan too?
It was a fake tan. I saw the original photo. That girl can't tan. Mm-mm. She just freckles.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we have that. And then from that, there was a whole movement of like transracial. Did you hear about this?
Is it like Ollie London?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where he's like, I identify as a Korean person. And I'm like, okay. You're trying to undercut the transgender people. You're trying to undercut that by bringing up this nonsense topic because race is not something you're born as. Or it's something you're born as. It's not something that is a societal thing, a cultural thing. Mm-hmm. So yeah, men and women, we have different societal, traditional things, gender roles, whatever in our society. Makes sense that a male might not identify with the man title, but you saying you identify as a Asian person? But I digress.
Yes.
So anyways, to Halsey's point, you're talking about that time where she was talking about the shampoo in the hotel.
Yeah. And the point that I wanted to make is like Halsey, I believe her dad is half black. And her mom is white.
Yes.
So I think it comes from like she has 3 white grandparents and then 1 black grandparent, right?
Yes.
So visually, Halsey doesn't come across as a black woman to me.
That's a white woman.
Yes, right? And so when it comes to that, but I do believe she has more textured hair. Like I think that's the thing. Like that's where the whole conversation came up with the lack of accessibility to hair products in hotels, where she was talking about how she wanted to wash her hair and she didn't find any products that worked for her. They were very stripping, whatever. And ultimately she was pushing for the initiative of like black people need inclusion in hotels. We need access to shampoos that work for our hair type.
Yes.
And it's like, I guess it's like, it's not,
that's what everybody said. I guess.
Right. Cause it's like, sure. I've never really thought about going into a hotel and using any of the products. One, because the size of them are so small that it wouldn't even cover the quarter of my head, right?
Yes.
So for one. 2, I'm not going to wash my hair on vacation.
Exactly. That part right there. Because I'm like, girl, which we can give her the benefit of the doubt. She's a touring artist. So she might be gone. Right, she has to wash her hair on the thing. But a normal black person, we don't take vacation. You think I could afford
There's a such thing in black culture called vacation hair for a reason. Like,
yes.
We get hair in
the
protective
2 weeks
styles.
I'm gone, we're not washing the hair.
Protective styles.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
And I feel like that is the epitome of a lot of black people who don't look black or don't navigate a lot of black issues. Their main concerns can be trickled down to the lack of access to shampoo in a bathroom.
Yeah.
When it's like there's other issues that
we have a lot more
much greater.
Yeah.
Right. And so, but again, to the point of like what is more digestible, Halsey's voice is going to be a lot louder than my voice, of course, because she's a celebrity. I'm not. But if there was a Halsey equivalent that was my color, Halsey would still ring louder than me. Yeah. You know. But I feel like we see that a lot, where a lot of the black issues are being spoken by people who do not have as many of the issues that a lot of darker skinned black people have.
Yep.
And that creates a narrative that what black people need can be considered superficial.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's also specifically to the shampoo.
Shampoo.
I don't know if you have any other examples. I have so many examples of like just watching people online who have that one black parent who don't look black but feel comfortable saying the N-word. And that brings a whole different discourse, especially it's like, well, you know, I have one black parent and then that black person over there said I could say it, so I'm going to say it widely out to everybody in the world, and every other black person's going to be okay with it.
Yeah, we need to talk about the invites to the cookout and these random N-word passes that everybody keeps handing out. Huh?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Baby, please.
You can't. So here's the thing, right? I understand circumstances, right? So let's say, for example, like if we were having a cookout, it is our cookout. We can invite whoever we want to our cookout. But all because whoever we want is invited to our cookout doesn't mean that if we get invited to a cookout that is not ours, we can bring them.
Yeah.
And I feel like that applies to the cookout situation and the N-word situation, right? Yeah. Not every black person is okay with hearing the N-word full stop.
Full stop, right? So even if a black person said it to another black person, that does not mean that both black people are okay with the N-word being used. Yep.
And it's even worse when it's a non-black person because of the history behind the word, excuse me. But if you're amongst your group of friends and you decide to bestow upon a non-black person that they can call you the N-word, that's you.
That's your struggle.
That is your struggle
in your life.
But it's you, right?
It's you. Just
but
know
that you need to make that non-black person know that they cannot go to a space, especially when you're not there, and
they're gonna get jumped. Even if you are there, they're probably gonna jump you too.
Right. And I feel like that's the term, the N-word, and then the whole cookout thing seems like it's such a universal thing that, like, okay, all black people are at one cookout, so if we invite a non-black person, they're invited to all cookouts. But you cannot be the voice for all black people and saying who can do and it will be for the most
useless things. It will be like, oh, she's got some rhythm. Yeah. You're invited to the cookout.
You didn't put, what is it? You didn't put raisins in the potato salad. You're invited
to the shut up.
Truly.
Come on.
Yeah. So I've been just seeing a lot of that recently, and it relates to the like half black struggle.
Yeah.
And then like struggle. the black conversation. Cause it's like, yes, I can understand, especially for somebody who is culturally black, like their culture is black, but yet at the same time they do not look black. I can understand that it's very difficult, but then at the same time, I feel like you should also understand that there just are certain issues that you can't speak on based on the way that you navigate around the world. It's not saying that your opinion is invalidated, because yes, if you don't look black, sometimes your opinion, especially if it aligns with the greater black,
if it aligns,
that's why I'm saying if it aligns with the greater black monolith, the monolith that is black people, you having your voice and your opinion matters when it's doing the right thing. But when it's not, and it's hurting the black community, at that point, that's when your opinion becomes invalidated.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to accept your opinion if your opinion hurts me.
Yeah.
Or if you make a blanket statement, like, because I know there are some times where people are expressing their own personal opinions, and those personal opinions don't necessarily align with everybody, and that hurts everybody. All because you don't believe something is to be true, but you do realize that what you may not believe in could be helpful. If you go and start saying like, okay, yeah, I understand that it's not what I believe, but if I do say otherwise, it will help everybody else. That's when I feel as though
we lost the plot.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's a mess. And like, it's just, and on social media, I feel like you just see it all the time.
Yes.
And you just have to go, moving on. Because it's just, you can't control what everybody does.
Yeah. And
it would just be so nice if all black people were on the same page, but we're not a monolith.
Well, yeah. And that's the thing. We're all people coming from different backgrounds, having different experiences. So it makes sense that we're not all going to be on the same page. And I feel like that can speak to a lot of volume to a lot of the issues that we still have. Because, again, because of racism, they're going to assume they're only going to listen to us if we all say the same thing, because the assumption is we are all the same.
Because if not, they're going to take a Candace Owens and be like, you see? Oh, Candace Owens, our fallen sister.
I don't want to talk about her. I don't want to talk about
Candace, please.
No, she doesn't even deserve tears. Wipe up your tears.
I'm sorry.
No, she deserves none of that.
Let me get on game.
Yeah. Because she's lying.
She's not invited to the cookout. She's got to go. I'm sorry.
She's laid in her bed and she's seemingly sleeping comfortably. Yeah. And once it goes on fire, nobody's going to save her. We will just watch whatever to her. But yeah, I think that's the main thing, right? Because you do have people like her and then other people who kind of fall outside. The assumption is, okay, we can't listen to everybody because not everybody's going to feel the same.
Yeah.
Right. And then at that point, that's where struggles and issues will always occur because of that. And the only hope is that at some point we do reach a strong enough majority that people will now look and understand that, 92% means something.
92%. And that's all that matters.
Right. And so stuff like that, right? Yeah. Because now when you consider the 92%, people are going to look at the Black woman and be an understanding. It's like, okay, any issues that arise now based on politics is not related to Black women. And I feel like that is what we need to see more to be able to get the changes that we need. So those like little voices of people who are like, you're Black, but you're not. You got to be quiet. Yeah.
Be quiet, baby.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I went on a ranting tangent. I don't even know if
that's the whole point of a podcast.
That's true.
The whole point.
But I don't. You were nodding. Hopefully, I didn't lose the plot.
Hey, we're bringing it back.
We're bringing it back.
Yeah. Moral of the story is, you're not Black, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
If you are a non-Black person, enjoy Black culture.
Yes.
But don't be a culture vulture.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Relax. With the cornbread, relax.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you are a Black person, go ahead and look at your grandparents for me.
Stop. Wait, grandma.
Grandma, what are you?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Ridiculous.
Look at those grandparents and get back to me. Put in the comments wherever you are. Are you Black? Or are you Black? Or are you mixed? Let me know.
Yeah, let Chanel know. I'm not going to read these comments.
I probably won't either, but let me know. Mm-hmm. I like some of them.
You're ridiculous.
Only the Black ones.
You're ridiculous. You're ridiculous. Okay, I feel like we got to close it out. You got anything else you want to say?
Nothing else.
Okay. You're unhinged.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All the time.
All the time.
Yes.
You are unhinged all the time. You are unhinged.
Period. You're unhinged only sometimes.
Yes. Only sometimes the camera will catch it, but typically it doesn't.
Typically.
Yes. Alrighty.
All right.
I'll catch you later, Chanel.
Bye.
Bye.
Is someone knocking on my door? Hello? Open the door. Open the door. I'm filming a podcast right now. Goodbye.
Hi.
You want to say hi to the podcast?
No, thank you.
Okay, bye.